Hello my friends, we continue to work with our material and our today's lesson will be dedicated to the vocabulary material. So I suggest you to open your click on students books on page 46. We are going to work with some vocabulary exercises. We are going to learn some new words and remember that if you have any questions, you can ask me anytime. And the first exercise we are going to work with is exercise 6. In this video lesson, we are going to speak about scenery and sights. And in exercise 6, they suggest you in the task to answer the question, which of the following would you find in a town, in a countryside, and both? So what does it mean in a town? You remember that we can live in a town. Town, it's місто. And we can live in the countryside. Countryside – це село, сільська місцевість. And both – це і там, і там. We can tell both, коли ми говоримо про обидва місця. But first of all, let's read and translate all the words in exercise 6. If you don't know the word, you should write it down with your pencil, yes? Or write down it into your dictionaries or vocabularies. So, fields – поля, factories – фабрики, department stores – магазини великі, car parks – парковки машин, libraries – бібліотеки, suburbs – околиці, nightclubs – нічні клуби, museums – музеї, cottages – котеджі, fashion houses – модні будинки, будинки мод, shopping centers – великі торгові центри, де ви можете купити багато речей, hospitals – лікарні, woods – ліс, restaurants – ресторани, cinemas – кінотеатри, offices – офісні приміщення, banks – банки, police stations – поліцейські станції, поліція, universities – університети, colleges – коледжі, schools – школи, five-star hotels – п'ятизіркові готелі, squares – площі, beaches – пляжі, rivers – річки, lakes – озера. And you can pay attention to the example. You can find fields in the countryside. Ви можете знайти поля в селі. Yes? I will make up a few sentences and then you will stop the video and will continue with making up the sentences by yourself. So you should make up at least 7 sentences that are based on this exercise. So, you can find a lot of nightclubs, museums, and fashion houses in the town. You can find banks, offices, and restaurants in the town. You can find rivers and lakes in the countryside. You can find, I think that you can find factories both in the countryside and in the town. You can find cottages both in the countryside and in the town. You can find police stations both in the countryside and in the town. So please make up the sentences that are based on this exercise and remember that you should learn and know all these words. The next exercise we are going to work with is exercise 7, and here the words are far more complicated and they are far more difficult than in the exercise 6. And remember that these words are very useful when you describe some places, when you describe cities or towns. So in exercise 7, the task is match the adjectives to the nouns. Then use them to describe the place you live. First of all, let's translate the nouns. Beaches – пляжі, streets – вулиці, cottages – котеджі, restaurants – ресторани, buildings – будівлі, parks – парковки, village – село and town – місто. And now we have to translate the words and to match them with the nouns. Yes, let's do it together. So, narrow, quiet, congested, deserted streets. Narrow – вузенька, quiet – тиха, congested – переповнена, deserted – пустинна, пуста, так? Picturesque, tiny, old-fashioned, attractive. Picturesque – мальовниче, tiny – малесенький, tiny. Yes, we have small, big, small, and tiny. It's very little. Old-fashioned – старомодний, attractive – привабливий. Sandy – піщаний, clean – чистий, crowded – переповнений, людний, да? Isolated – ізольований. Huge – величезний, attractive – привабливий, multi-story – багатоповерховий, tall – висока. Expensive – дорогий, popular – популярний, local – місцевий, traditional – традиційний. Well-kept – добре збережений, well-preserved. Huge – величезний, quiet – тихий, clean – чистий. Important – важливий, noisy – шумний, modern – сучасний, pretty – красивий, large – великий. Unspoiled – незіпсований, picturesque – мальовничий, peaceful – мирний, boring – нудний. Now you should stop the video and match the places to the descriptions. And we continue with the checking. So, picturesque, tiny, old-fashioned, attractive, I think that it is village. Sandy, clean, crowded, isolated, beaches. Huge, attractive, multi-story, tall, buildings. Expensive, popular, local, traditional, restaurant. Well-kept, huge, quiet, clean, parks. Important, noisy, modern, pretty, large, town. Unspoiled, picturesque, peaceful, boring, village. I think that the second one, a picturesque, tiny, old-fashioned, attractive, it can be cottages also. And you have the example in the sentence. Elham is a picturesque village with quiet, deserted street and old-fashioned cottages. Now I live in Volochysk. It is a tiny city where my parents live, so I will describe it. So Volochysk is a picturesque, tiny, attractive town with sandy beach, well-kept park, and noisy streets sometimes. Also, there are some old-fashioned and attractive restaurants there, a lot of multi-story and tall buildings, and also here you can find some attractive cottages. So you need to make up the sentence, the same sentence as I have already made about Khmelnytsky or about the town or the village where you live now in this period of time. I'm sorry, God bless me. And we are going to switch into exercise 10. Holiday experience. What does it mean, holiday experience? When we travel somewhere to any place in the world, after our coming back, we have our holiday experience, наш досвід подорожі. What was good in this during the holiday, what was bad during the holiday, and what experience have we gained, який ми досвід заробили. And in exercise 10, your task will be to listen and match the people to their holiday problems. First of all, let's pay attention to the holiday problems we have in exercise 10. Lose passport. What does it mean, lose passport? Втратити паспорт. Airline cancel flight. You know the translation of this word. Авіалінія відмінила політ. Get food poisoning. Food poisoning – отруєння їжею. Lose credit card. Згубити кредитку. Be sick. Be seasick – це мати морську хворобу. Get sunburned – як згоріти на сонці. And get on the wrong bus – сісти на не той автобус. So I suggest you to listen to exercise 10 and match.
Exercise 10A, page 46. 1. I was on holiday last year in Paris when I ran into Mrs. Melville, my old French teacher, at the Louvre. She'd helped me so much when I was at school that I really wanted to do something to repay her, so I invited her to lunch. We went to a really wonderful restaurant and I told her to order whatever she wanted, that it was my treat. It was great talking about old times and the food was brilliant. Then the bill came and I opened my bag to get out my credit card, but I couldn't find it. I searched everywhere, but it was nowhere to be found. I didn't even have enough cash to pay the bill. So in the end, I had to borrow money from Mrs. Melville. I was so embarrassed. I got her address, of course, and paid her back as soon as I could. But that's not the point, is it? 2.
A couple of years ago, I was on my way back from San Francisco. Everything was wonderful until I got to the airport to come home. The airlines had cancelled all flights back to Europe due to bad weather. We waited in the departure lounge for hours. It was incredibly crowded and, of course, everyone had lots of luggage, but all we could do was sit and wait. Finally, we were all put on buses and taken to nearby hotels for the night. The next day we went to the airport again, and luckily we only had to wait a couple of hours before we got put on a flight home.
3.
I went to a beach resort for the first time a few years back. It was beautiful, the longest beaches I'd ever seen, lined with palms. On the first day, I found the perfect location on the beach. I put on my suntan oil, lay back, and fell asleep. I woke up hours later, alone on the beach, and red all over. I had the worst sunburn of my life, and I had to spend my 10-day holiday in my hotel room, covered in cream. Then, to make matters worse, I started peeling as soon as I arrived back home. I went back to work with a red, peeling face. What a nightmare!
4.
Last year we decided to visit our daughter. She was living in Spain at the time, wasn't she, dear? Now we wanted to surprise her, so we made all the arrangements ourselves. The flight arrived in Madrid on time, and then we had to catch a bus to Valladolid. As soon as we got off the bus, we called our daughter so that she could come and pick us up. It was only then that we realized we'd taken the wrong bus. We were in Vallepenas, not Valladolid. Our daughter did come and pick us up, but she had to drive more than 300 kilometers to get us. Much longer than we had planned.
5.
I had a terrible year, so I decided to treat myself to a cruise. I chose the most luxurious one I could afford, a tropical island hop. What I didn't take into consideration was that it was the rainy season. The seas were really rough. It rained almost constantly and I got seasick. I spent most of my time either in bed or in the bathroom. I couldn't eat or drink anything except barley water. So much for the gourmet food. What a waste.
So if you didn't hear anything, you can listen one more time, their recording. And now we are going to check. So Jane lose credit card. Peter airline cancel flight. Jennifer get sunburn. The Smiths get on the wrong bus. And Ronald be seasick. And now we switch on part B, and your task is to complete the sentences as in the example. And here you have the example. Jane had to borrow some money because she had lost her credit card. And you need to make up the same sentences as in the example with had and the third column of irregular verbs. Діти, ви будуєте речення так само, тобто ви вставляєте had і третю колонку неправильних дієслів. Це час, який називається past perfect, and we are going to learn it during this unit. І в цьому юніті ми будемо вчити цей past perfect. But now you need to make up the sentences as in the example. So stop the video, make up the sentences, and we are going to check. Now we are going to check. Peter had to stay overnight at a hotel because the airline had cancelled the flight. Jennifer had to spend her holiday in her hotel room because she had got sunburn. The Smith's daughter had to drive more than 300 kilometers to pick them up because they had got on the wrong bus. Ronald couldn't eat or drink anything because he had been seasick. I'm sorry. And if you pay attention, you will know. Якщо ви приділите увагу, діти, то ви побачите, що оцей past perfect tense, я зразу запіжу трішки наперед, він показує дію, яка відбулася раніше дії в минулому. Тобто ви бачите, що, наприклад, в першому реченні Джейн повинна була позичити гроші, тому що вона згубила свою картку. Тобто вже вона позичила гроші в минулому, а згубила картку вона ще в минулішому. Тобто past perfect пояснює the past action that happened before the other past action, the other past action. Тобто сталося до якоїсь минулої дії в минулому. Але ми про це будемо говорити далі. And the last exercise for today, before I will give you your home task, is exercise 11. It is also the listening exercise, so be very attentive. And the task is, where would you hear the following? Listen and underline the correct words. So you will hear some sounds and you need to underline where would you hear. I hope that you know all the words here. They are not very complicated. So
Exercise 11A, page 46. 1. I'm afraid I don't have any booking under that name, sir. 2.
This is an announcement for all passengers waiting to board British Airways Flight 207 to Mexico. This flight has been delayed until further notice. Please check the monitors for further information. We apologize for any inconvenience this may cause.
3.
The express train for Brighton is now boarding at platform 6. Platform 6 for the express train to Brighton.
4.
Would you like a single, a double, or a twin?
5.
We'd like to remind all customers of today's book sale on the 3rd floor. There are plenty of special offers, so don't miss out.
6. Please fasten your seatbelt during takeoff. All passengers are advised to keep their seatbelts fastened for the duration of the flight. Exercise.
And so the first is hotel, the second one is airport, the third train station, the fourth hotel, the fifth department store, and the sixth airplane. And here you have some, in part B, you have some useful words that you can use anytime when you are speaking about your travel experience or anytime you are speaking about your travels. So, booking, бронювання, flight, політ, customers, покупці, seatbelt, ремінь безпеки, пасок безпеки, take off, зліт літака, credit card, кредитна картка, has been delayed, затримали, відмінили, single or return. Single – це квиток в один бік, а return ticket, you can buy a return ticket, це квиток туди і назад. First or economy, перший клас або економ-клас. Black or white, білий або чорний. Platform 6, платформа номер 6. So you can use these words while talking about your travel experience. And at the end of this lesson, I want to give you the home task. And the home task will be, please write down, workbook, page 22, exercise 1, 2, 4, and 5. You can do this exercise in your workbook or in your copybooks. And remember that I am waiting for your dialogues.